All right. Hi, everybody. Today is, let's see, March 14th, 2021. And what tonight is about is Metabody Electronics groups. And we just completed, and if Ia jumps on, I'll keep watching for her. I'd love to have her share, but our team can share about it. MetaBE generally it's an event that we put together with All4U. Normally it's 10 days long. We just completed a 2-day All4U that was completely target focused on prep for this thing called Metabody Electronics, and I'll explain what that is for those that don't know or are going to know. And then we had an 8-day window for Metabody Electronics, of which we were done in 7 days. And we had 32 people together at our conference center here in Western North Carolina, all but 2 on site, meaning they were just 1 mile away. And then we had 12 people in Mullumbimby, Australia, which was amazing. And it worked out beautifully. They got to get up at dark 30 to be with us at 9 o'clock in the morning. They got up, they were in class from 1 o'clock to whenever and in the morning. And what I'm here to share with you is, first of all, Metabody Electronics and we have a number of grads who can share their experience. I'll let them do that. So this is what happens in body electronics. It was developed by Dr. John Ray. I was one of his first trainers ever back in the 70s. I call it the 1800s. And so I've been at this for 50 some years. And what I'm sharing about this is, like, whenever we go, this is the blueprint. There's so much more material. So I want to keep it real brief tonight so we can talk about the possibility of, after I saw what happened with our team in Australia simultaneously with our team here in USA, I realized, man, we could do this globally. As long as people understand how the mechanics of body electronics and metabody electronics, I mean, we can do this and really help a lot more people. So normally I do body electronics once every, let's say, 2 years. The results, which you'll hear tonight, are, I'll let people speak for themselves, but in my experience is it's profound. It's beyond anything I've ever done before, anything I've heard about before, not better than just the way we're doing it. So again, Dr. John Whitman Ray taught me this back in the 70s something. I was at all of his first instructor training on all his classes. I repeated them like, I don't know, 5 times, something like that. And I started doing body electronics, which is a form of sustained acupressure. And so what would John Ray would say, whenever we go against the law of love, and that could be a lot for many of us, anybody in the planet, at that point, whatever's going on in thought, word, and feeling patterns gets stored in the body that's less than love in a crystal. And that crystal is in our body emitting the pattern to come back to us to relive. So if any of you wonder why this keeps happening to you, it's most likely because there's a crystal inside going, come to redo me, redo me, redo me. No, I don't want to. Redo me, get away from me, redo me. So in other words, we're all carrying our karma because we came to Earth to resurrect all of our experiences with love. That's what we came here for, in my view. And so when I added conscious language, imagination activation, outcome facilitation, outcome mapping, sacred body language translation, biooptic holography, and a bunch of other stuff, body electronics became easy. In the beginning of body electronics, we would do 1-point session like the endocrine, and it would take 6 days to get everybody done. So in our time together, in 7 days, everyone had an endocrine session. Everyone had a bladder lift and did one, of course. I mean, shared, it was a team effort all the way across the board. Everyone did a colon electronics acupressure on the gut, fully clothed. Everyone did a spinal electronics. How we say that, people have gone to me and go, now, do you wear clothes? And I'm going, yeah, you wear clothes. If you're not wearing clothes, I'm not going to be in there. And whatever. So anyway, you wear clothes. Just know that. So and so again, it's a bladder lift, colon electronics, spinal electronics, cranial electronics, and then preparation. So we did 2 what I call special effects, which is the occipital bone. And again, all of these are frequency specific. So with me and body language, I found out where the thought forms are in the body. I learned a lot of it from studying the eyes and from doing body electronics. So what has happened, and you can study all this, we've got a whole bunch of different things free and things that you can, get on our online university, and you can study it. And what I'm here to talk about tonight is I had a vision after this last class we just finished that we could do this all over the planet. And what that means to me is once I've been with somebody and I know they know where the points are. In fact, many people that did body electronics with John Ray or me way back, if I went to them now, they could be a little ways off from the point and not get the results. So for me, it's like, I really got it figured out on where the points are. You can imagine after 50 years, yeah, and working with thousands of people, I'm good at that. And what I'm here to share with you is the crystals. In other words, when I'm buzzing, it's pretty funny. Whenever we go against the law of love, genetically and experientially, the memory of that pattern gets stored in our temple of the Most High Living God, our body. And our team will share in a minute. So we plug into these particular points that bring nerve supply back to the body, that hook up our endocrine system, that reverse the curse, so to speak, and bring us back into what we're really meant to be, that kind of stuff. So what happens is when you hold these points, it's like I call it piezo, but I think it's called piezo, where you have a gas stove and you push the little button, it goes spark, spark. That's a crystal. That's striking a crystal. That same thing happens when you hold anywhere in the body where there's pain. That pain is this little crystalline chip of thought, word, and feeling patterns. So we plug in, we hold the chip, the body, and it's sustained over a period of time. And frequently the memories will come back for the person. They relive the memory and they walk points at one time. Many of our teams share. So when we get together, we do an endocrine session. We bring everything back in the body, and then we do we raise all the internal organs back into position. We call it a bladder lift. It's a simple many-second maneuver. It's really cool. And then we do acupressure on the colon, which hooks up. This is a lot of information. This is maybe way too much, and we hook up our genetically encoded timeline. So if somebody didn't have time in arms with mom, and or maybe something happened between the first, second, or third trimester in utero, where there wasn't a full engaged bonding, that genetically encoded timeline is still available. We can jump in and begin to develop. So if you can imagine, I make sure we feel, then we put all the organs back into position, then we do acupressure on small and large intestine, which reconnect what we didn't get going up. And the way you would know that is you have to think about something instead of automatically master it. I'll say it again. In other words, if we're not autonomically hooked up, autonomically, which is large and small intestine, what that means is the person has to work at mentally to get it to happen. And once we're hooked up, it's automatic. How many like the idea of being automatic? Yeah, I mean, automatic conscious. And again, so that happens, and that's within a couple of days of what we do together. And then we do spinal electronics, which is our support system. And it's phenomenal. Just go find these little bone spurs and these crystallizations, make contact. My team will talk about it in a minute. And I've talked about it a long time, and now they can talk about it because they've done it. And you just make contact, and there's a big old knob on somebody's, let's say, right at second cervical, and it looks like it's like a golf ball, and somebody could hold that. And instead of when I did it 7 hours later, that would finally dissolve. And first time it happened to me, many hours in, all of a sudden my thumb's pushing on a bone, and all of a sudden, because it goes like butter. That's one of the standard lines, butter. So for me, everybody, this is standard operating. We'll get together, we jump in, endocrine system, we do the bladder lift, we do the colon electronics, we do spinal electronics, then we do cranial electronics, which reshapes the skull. And everyone looks different, both in our Mullumbimby team, we just simultaneously be together on Zoom, and our team here in the USA. And then we get together and we prep a little bit, and we have eye photos as soon as somebody comes in. And then from the eye photo, we can find out where the hidden thought patterns are that we're going to make contact with. So how many of you have ever moved up scale and then a repeating pattern bit you in the butt? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, 7. All right. So that just means to me that pattern is in there hanging out. So what I found out is if we just go, all right, we have, let's say 12 people, one on the table, 11 around, and we have about 22 hands that can go make sure we plug into every one of those points. And it's a breeze. It's sometimes 10, 15 minutes instead of 5 hours. First time I ever did Meta BE was like 4 or 5 hours. Now it's 15. Why? Because we prepare the soil. So what I'm exploring here with you is there's tons of information. If I were going to do this, if I liked it, I would have to know a lot more about Meta BE. You can find that out. And our team tonight, I'm asking our team to just share your experience. And then really, this is an evaluation of how many of you can imagine or get a yes for being the one to bring this to your community of 12 or so people in your neck of the woods, your home, your center, whatever it is. I do not recommend a hotel. I recommend more of a private setting for obvious reasons. So who's willing to share their experience of Meta BE? Jump on, mic yourself and wave. Go ahead, Amy. You got to mic yourself, honey.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've been on Zoom. I am still processing. I am upgrading.
What I'm asking, honey, these
Yes.
folks that have never done this before, so I'm not asking you to share with your group.
Okay.
What I'm asking for is what getting prepared, what happened for you in our 8 days together, or actually 10 total. What happened for you?
My smile is wider. You can see my teeth in the back. My skull is slightly wider from the cranium. Prepping was a necessity. And like Bob mentioned, being on crystals, it was the most amazing experience of being able to push on a crystal and just have it disappear. And the biggest thing for me was I connected with my God. I was at the foot of the cross, and nowhere have I ever experienced such a beautiful thing, a beautiful
Awesome.
experience. Thank you, Bob.
No, yes, me too. I'm in the same gratitude with you, my dear. So I'll pass it right on and add mine to it. How's that? So.
And also, my voice is a lower station. I speak from the gut now.
Who's got?
My gut versus coming from up here.
Yeah.
And I am spending a lot more time in consciousness versus unconsciousness.
Cool. Did you have heat in your fingers?
Yes, it felt like I was laying my fingers at the side of a oven. And then more than once, the first time I was looking at my fingers and wondering if I would have a blister.
Got it. How many are excited about that? Most people go, well, we'll see. Anyway.
But the beautiful thing is at the end, when you said that it was energy versus heat, it lost the hot feeling. It became a divine tool that we could be moving someone else upscale.
Amen. Cool. Thank you, dear. Perfect. Who else? Mic yourself and wave so I can find you. I'm on a little bit smaller computer now. So yes, ma'am. Beth, go ahead.
Hi. I really, really appreciate the meetings we had before Meta BE, preparing the soil, our food prep, and our minerals, because once we met each other in person and we were going to be putting fingers on each other and in each other's mouths, it was essential that we had trust. And trust began meeting each other, and when we were all there, we fully trusted and honored each other, and I was able to say a little bit more pressure, a little bit more connection, and they would let up or press on as I asked. And finding crystals, Bob, that was totally new and exciting, kind of to see and feel the crystal. And then yes, the heat on my thumbs, especially if I looked away or got distracted, the automatic feedback of coming back to being fully present and loving what I'm touching and what I'm doing. If I went and looked at another table to see what was going on, my thumb heated up and let me know, like, back here, chickie, this is where you belong. And oh my gosh, they melted like butter. Yes. And the other skill I learned was, and I've heard you talk deep breathing, and when I was on the table or touching points for somebody else, oh my gosh, my deep breathing, our breathing as one, again, we would just melt crystals, and my memories and remembering were beyond beautiful. Just beautiful. Side note, the bladder lift, Bob, I was outside 3 hours yesterday, putting out a little bit of grass fire, and I was good. My bladder, I held my own.
I thought you were going to tell us I peed it out. No, just kidding.
No, no, that's a whole new experience for me. So and my stamina yesterday, we were outside 3 hours, really, really working and helping my in-laws out, and my stamina, I am my youth.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome, dear. And how about your skull? Did it change at all?
Yes, next time I choose to take pictures, yes. And my roof of my mouth, about a half an inch raised.
Yeah, cool. Cool. And has it changed your singing voice now?
I didn't have one before, and I haven't checked it out yet. It's
Awesome.
on my that's on my outcome map though.
I was reading them. Aha. No, just kidding. Awesome. Thank you, Beth. Anybody else? This is again just to give you a little like whatever, and nobody can put into words what we do. That's all there is to it. It's way beyond all that. So who's next? Grad of Meta. Come on, no, jump in, kids. This is quick. Go ahead, Molly. And just mic yourself first, because that's how I see you right away.
Hi, I had the best time. I felt like I made a whole group of new friends, best friends, and I didn't know what to expect. Like we didn't, but we had heard, about the heat. The heat is intense, and but yet it's not exactly pain. It feels like it's energy, like it's electricity flowing through. And when the crystals melt, and you know that you're helping, that's the best feeling in the world. It makes you feel so good and happy and loving. And the love around the table was just palpable. You could just feel it. You could sense it. You trusted everybody there. And my head's bigger. I think I'm taller even, imagine. And everything is vital and strong and healthy and robust. I just feel like I can conquer the world. It was wonderful. And thank you.
And what about your hubby? Any changes for him?
Yes, he's right here. I feel like he changed the most because he was in pain when we got there. He was stiff from pain, and he has Parkinson's. And
has had Parkinson's.
Has had in the past, kept clear Parkinson's, but his symptoms are almost non-existent now. Just a slight tremor, very, very rarely. And he was moving stuff up and down the other day, like moving things around, and didn't even think about this might hurt my back, so I'm not going to do this. I mean, a whole new change of attitude of what he can do and what he's able to do, and what God has allowed him to do. And we were talking today with his father. We go to lunch with him every Sunday, and it was a really long conversation about the benefits of going to Meta BE and how great it was. And it was divine. It was just divine, and we loved every minute of it. But he is a changed person too. And thank you, Bob.
Awesome. It's so cool. I mean, we all loved watching everyone's metamorphosis, and your husband's was extreme in a good way. Really, really, really good. So, yeah. All right, who else? Wave and mic yourself. Grads, jump in.
I'll jump in.
Okay, thank you, Heather.
So I've been doing this for a few years, and upgrading is like baby steps, and Meta is like getting on the elevator that goes zoom so fast. And I am still in my awe, and I've felt I'm still feeling what I'm feeling about it, and about Meta. And to sum it up, I'd say I feel I'm in grace. I'm just in grace. I feel my ease. I feel my clarity. I feel my confidence. Physically, when I experienced my bladder lift, I could breathe. It was similar to like something slowly pressuring being on you to where you don't realize how much you're limited until the like a rock is on you, until that rock is removed. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I can breathe. I could breathe so much more. I didn't even realize how much I couldn't breathe until I could. And and as Beth said, I'm a teacher, and it, you know, teachers are infamous for having to hold their bathroom breaks. And I have not had to go, you know, since I can go between classes now. It's so nice. And so I can go like 3 classes or more. I love it. The other thing that is so glorious about Meta is, you know, we built this community ahead of time, we were introduced to our group in Zoom, and I really appreciated it because my first Meta, we didn't do this, and I think it was a great upgrade. We started Meta 2 months before Meta,
Yeah.
and we were already Zooming before we even came together, and literally, and just coming together in such a community of love. I mentioned there that I just felt if it was the closest thing to heaven on earth. Everyone spoke in love. Everyone just, it was so loving. Everyone was lifting and caring and kind and loving in all ways. And I felt in love there. And so it's just a beautiful thing. The other thing that I found interesting this time around was when I was holding points and I would feel heat, I realized that I was off and I could sense that it was arcing, and I just suddenly move and then it wouldn't be as hot and it was more bearable, but I could actually feel the arcing. Some of the things that we were doing, the crystals were really close. And so we'd feel one crystal melt and then it'd start arcing over to the next crystal. And that's why it got hot. It would cool down because we'd melt that one crystal, but then the next crystal would be like me, and it would arc over to that next one. So it'd heat up again. So you'd have to just like slowly move your finger over to the next one. And that was a new experience for me. And I that was really cool. Um, and then to just sum it up, it's just this the grace that I'm in, and I experience my great calm, and it's peaceful, and everything's going to be okay. And period.
Awesome, honey. And by the way, could you mention again the sound of the crystal calling for you?
Just remember what I said.
Me.
Me.
No, come over here. I love it. I almost said right away, but I had to wait, be a committed listening because what you're saying was so intimate and important. But can you imagine you get done with one, especially on the spine, and most likely on the spine, you get done with the one. How cool that we can go, and these crystals are energetic packages of memory that are awaiting to be touched by us with love. That's what they are. And whether you're on the table, so to speak, or you're holding points, doesn't matter. Everybody moves upscale. Everybody goes through whatever they have to go through to do that point.
Yes.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Who else? Go ahead. Stacy from Sweden. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I am every night still getting my points held and holding points. It's been an amazing experience of upgrading even afterwards. And anyway, during the session, I was just really, like everybody has said, there's such an intimate time of getting to know people even before, during, and also even afterward, just following up how are things. One of the most important things I believe for me was that I was able to relax into my God courage and breathe. What was mentioned before, it was very important for me to learn how to breathe deeply, and that was how I moved through and and met God and my God courage, my God insurance, my God trust. And I know that my husband has mentioned that I am a lot calmer. I'm at peace, as many others have mentioned as well. Um, let's see, many miracles happened as well. I mean, I just feel in general also just a new flexibility with movements in every area that we've taken. There were a lot of things that were cleaned up, which also gave a freedom of movement in my creativity in birthing what I'm called to birth, um, uh, and also just being, learning that I can be in my body in a whole new way, and a whole new revelation of God's word has opened up to me, and just practicing being in God, and in really supernatural faith. And so that I'm continually observing more and more. So it's funny. I guess it's been a week now, and just unpacking. There's just so much more to unpack. I sense, wow, God, show me what have I, what else? So anyway, I'm very thankful. Period.
Awesome. And I'm going to add with Stacy's communication is that this is ongoing. It's as if we jump in and we start to reverse the mortal coil toward death, and we do, and we start living. And I mean, if this is the beginning of moving into life and life ever expanding, it's really wild. So that's been my experience with it as well. All right, who else? Anyone? Adam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. What I'm most excited for, and this is what the call's all about tonight. So this is like Roger Bannister type stuff. Now, what we just completed and what we were able to do with our team in Australia, I'm excited for. I mean, some of the lists that Bob sent me with, who signed up. We have a lot of people that are, former people that have done BE before, and just being able to have these simultaneously, like at 10, 20, whatever the number is, communities around the planet is amazing. I mean, I am amazed at what we accomplished, what we were able to do because of technology and what it was created for. And that's what I'm most excited for, is just what we can now accomplish and achieve in supporting our global family. So
yeah. And it was amazing. We didn't lose anything, did we? I mean, with Mullumbimby.
No. And that's what's really awesome, because of Ia's background, and then having Ange there to support and know where the points were. She had her own visceral experience of what body electronics was about, which is super important. And I mean, just amazing. And our Australia team was super hooked up. Their sharing was beautiful every single time. We were succinctly interwoven in all of our experiences. We'd have similar things where we wouldn't meet up at a particular time because we had stuff up. And so but when we would sync up after the fact, just sharing our experience and similar what we all upgraded on. And it's just simply amazing. Period for now.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Any grad? Edwards, good. Thanks. Good.
Thanks, Bob. Just for everyone on the call, I've known Bob since 1993, took significant courses with him back in what he calls the 1800s. And then Melvin and I started taking some classes in 2020 with a pretty deep dive, extensive set of studying leading up to Meta BE. Like Stacy said, the preparation happened before we got in the room. In 1994, I heard about bioelectronics, and one of the people in the class I was in at the time that had been through it was talking about how amazing it was, and she was also noting the preparation was a big deal. She's talking about the minerals and the supplements and kind of what that did to your body. So it's like, whoa. And I'm happy to report that the minerals and the supplements that we took like 3 months leading up to it really helped me personally. I could feel a difference in my patience, in my mental acuity. My body just behaved better in all kinds of ways. The green fog that he talked about really didn't happen for me. Melba can tell her own story about the minerals. I think she's driving right now. That's why she's not on this call. But anyway, so the prep was really, really important. And then during the course, we had all for you for 2 days, as another level of prep going into it. And then we got into it. And my experience, Bob's done a great job of each of the successive experiences on the table. The endocrine session for me was powerful, and it accessed some past early childhood memories I had. I got clarity on some stuff, and it just moved through me that I had never had before. I've done a lot of personal work in the past. So the issues that came up were not too surprising, but the depth and the level and the moving through it and touching and staying with it and transforming it was new and different for me. And then I also accessed something from a previous session I had, which really brought forward a life mission from previous lives, what I'm really here to do. And in the other sessions, including the spinal, which was huge for me, and then the cranial, that memory, that imagination came back, and it progressed and got brighter, and like just a lot more happened in it, which was amazing for me. And of all the trainings and sessions that I've had with Bob, we never got to that kind of stuff. I mean, as amazing as Bob is, or even the tools that I use for myself, MetaBE was able to help me rapidly advance and receive and transform in a way that, it did what it was designed to do that other classes can't necessarily or don't do in the same rapid fashion. So I was looking forward to going through it. I'm happy that I went through it, and I'm looking forward to doing it again and bringing our daughters back with us.
Mm-hmm.
And since I returned, one more thing. Before coming down, I'm over 50, I'll be 57 in April. And there have been times cognitively where like I couldn't remember something, or, I just wasn't quite as clear as I'm used to being. That changed, after MetaBE. I just find like I'm sharp and just writing emails faster, and the creativity is flowing. I attribute that to whatever happened in MetaBE, and I'll also continue taking the minerals and the supplements. Period.
Awesome. Way cool. All right. Anyone else? Any add-ons or anything? How many are mentally sharper? Cool. How many had memory? How many put things together that hadn't been put together before? Like why, wherefore? How many changed the trajectory of your life? I'll do it that way. I mean, how cool is that? And these are, it's like, well, it's like telling people what sugar tastes like if they never had sugar. Well, it's sweet. And they're going, well, so again, what happens is we create an environment of security even before people get there. And that's what Ia did in her group. And that's, again, what Adam brought up is, we can do one of these every 2 years, whatever, or we can have groups. I mean, my ideal is have 12 groups of minimum 12 people plus the group that we have live, the core event that we have. And so that's 100 and some people all at the same time, because something's going on when we are all working at the same time, dissolving the crystals. So, and what that means is we're reliving patterns and releasing or transforming the pattern into the life force it actually is. So yes, sir.
Thank you. You reminded me of one other thing about changing the trajectory of my life. In the first day or two of MetaBE, I had an experience in a moment where it was brought to my attention in a painful way at the time, that I wasn't playing 125%. And I received, because of that, what it really means to be fully and completely present, and to be here for myself and for other people fully and completely, because the work we were doing is so sacred. It required that, and I also deserve it too. And even though I understood the 125 concept, and I think that I show up where I'm present for people, up until that moment, that night, and the next day, I wasn't really getting it, and now I got it. So that's a blessing for me.
Yes, sir. Me
Thank
too. And that's an ever expanding. I mean, holding back at all is just getting spit out of our creator's mouth. Like,
Oh,
"Okay."
And for the purpose of the group, I appreciate Bob's integrity in pretty much calling to a halt the entire experience to address what needed to be addressed. And as a facilitator, it just showed his Bob's love and commitment to what it takes to get this done for everybody's security.
Amen.
And it was appropriate and necessary, and I appreciate you, Bob.
Oh, thank you. 125. Oh, yeah. And it's bigger than all of that. I mean, and all of us, think how far our parents, no judgment, our parents went down, giving up, creative power. And I mean, I look at our world right now, especially in the United States of America, and how like, oh, you can't call your mom, or your dad, or dad. Obviously, we've slipped off something so far down that people are just searching for, let's just change anything we can. What about it? So what we are is a seed transformation coming back online into fully embodied spiritual beings. That's really what it's about. So I'm going to keep it as, interesting and short. So Adam is our go-to person for this. And we don't share how it works or anything. But if you have interest in finding out more, get with Adam at masterysystems.com, Adam at masterysystems.com. That's Adam at Mastery. Anyway, get with Adam and he can share with you what we've got coming up, which is April 19, 20, and 21 here at our location. We come in, start at 9 a.m. on the 19th, and we'll be complete by noon on the 21st. So it'll be a full on thing. And what happens in that is there's so I've been given up with your microphones. So it's 3 days of finding everything about the endocrine session. Basically, when we get in Meta, I'm not really teaching people everything. I'm getting hooked up so they have an experience. So now, if anyone's going to put this on in their home or start giving body electronics and maybe Meta BE sessions with their people, and I choose to do it with teams because I believe that's what the coolest thing ever. So all the endocrine information, how it works, the bladder lift, colon electronics, spinal electronics, cranial electronics, and then the whole occipital bone, which is all about thriving. If you take a finger and push up on the bone in the back of your head, that occipital bone, just from kind of underneath straight up on the bone, if you have any pain in there, there's crystals about thriving or not enough or get by or make do. So we clear that. Same with the pubic bone. And then all about the Meta session. And in the Meta session, we use photos of the eyes. So that's another thing that gets to happen. Anybody has a community that's going to put this on, you're going to have a camera to be able to take pictures, because even though our team who are trained in this identified the point location, we'll help you with that. And still, it's important that you got a camera. And if you have a camera, you might as well get trained on how to use it. So that's a part of the training that's going to happen in our time together. Again, April 19th through 21. And then what to do with broken bones. I mean, broken bones, how to support a few minutes sometimes. And that bone is normal. We have a divine electronics, same with organs and glands. Like Brian, who had what in the past was called Parkinson's, I watched him come in and 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 come in. So I'm not working on the issue or the symptom. We're not going to heal the symptom. We're going to restore our full being, which is, again, so, I'm in the middle of completing a book. We have great news on that. And I'll leave it at that for those who know. Fantastic news, and I'll leave it at that. So there's this thing that in the nutritional health consciousness essential oil field, you have to walk a fine line. I've always had to, and not being able to say, well, this heals this and this heals that. Well, it doesn't heal it. What heals it is walking in faith. And so the antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral, anti-tumoral, all that. No, life is not an anti anything. It's pro. And what happens in BE and Meta BE and the systems we're using is somebody simply walks new. They start loving, they vote victory. And so the whole Meta BE experience is all about holding points and having points held. It's all about service. And the minute we start serving, and this is full on, kids, this is 125. This is, I mean, you know, you use everything you got, and then your God self will come through because you're going, a little help here, like my hands are God's hands, and come online. And when that happens, as Brian's doing, regeneration happens. You know, how many love the idea of completely regenerating our body? Where somebody might say, I've got these issues. Well, how about let's just do service and come online, and all of a sudden they're going, oh, I forgot that I had an issue. Awesome, works for me. So that's that. And then we have the broken bone thing, deviated septum. That's again the nose where the whatever's going on. That's easy. 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for me, 30 seconds to work with somebody. Leg links. I'll just show you this thing. We didn't get to it this time, but do you get a sense that when we're holding points and we're together, when we come together in what's the month? March, April. I have a thing with months these days because of this thing that's going on the planet. In April, we're not holding any points. We're finding the location so that you have an experience of, if somebody has something up, you know right where to go and or how to educate and train others to do the same. Because somebody could be off just a little bit, like magnets, that if I have an issue thriving, which is going to be about STO and nerve supply, then holding that STO point, 2 points in the back of the neck, if getting to them and holding them, that my like magnet is going to resist to the same magnet that person is going to push me off the course. So finding where the points are is really important to have this thing work effectively. So, and then there's about 45, those that did the cranial. There's about 45 additional cranial points that I can show you. I'm excited now. Come on, how many like the idea? Oh, okay, we'll see. So we actually have a pillow that wraps around your head. No, just kidding. And then reproductive support, how to have your reproductive system work awesomely. I'll demonstrate all the heart points because there's a lot of them and they're important. All of the leg, along the side of the leg, emotional release points, which are rock and roll. How many excited now? How many had those points held on the side of your leg? Going, how many almost smacked somebody? Just, that's enough of that. That's enough. I'm emotionally let up. Okay, and we do. All of the foot points, there's a ton there. And then really a lot of our time together will be about technique and coaching, and also technique and preparation, because we really got prepared. We had 4 meetings. We were in the game. Everybody with minimum 1 month. There's way longer than that. And that really helped us. I mean, that was the first time I ever did anything like it. And then Adam will have all the information, and it's really like an application, so to speak, of what are you interested? Here's what it takes. Here's your commitment level. Even if you did Meta, there's a lot to hosting one of these in your home. And I've asked Ia, even though she's not on now, I've asked her, and we may actually have her do a training of what it took for her to put this on in her home, because this is a major upgrade, a major life-changing upgrade, which is really important. So I can share that with you. Ami, did you do Meta? Ami Grenier, can you jump in, honey? Calling Ami. Oh, there we go. Raise the hand. Can you mic yourself now? Mic yourself. There's a video. Where are you? Where are you? Wave at me. I saw a video. Oh, there you are. Hi, sweetie. Awesome. So you did Meta, right?
Yes, a couple of times.
Yeah, I noticed this. I saw it. Yeah. And so what was your experience doing it a couple of times?
Wow. I'm in so much joy just remembering, and just all that this is what you're sharing, and Adam. And I was just thinking, oh my God, Adam's been on my Meta team, and he is on my Meta team, and Bob, and all of this. So many great experiences, and I can relate to everyone who shared where our team and the building of our team and the environment we created, and the amount of love and how it moves through, how our love moves, and being able to hold points and touch with love. And I remember my first experience with a 3-day BE in Berkeley, California with you. And you shared, it's going to be hot, but not the kind of hot that you'd have in a flame. It's going to be different. And I remember you saying the key words, it helps me to say my hands are God's hands. And from that moment, every Meta BE and BE session I've done, I've realized the power of, and what I feel when I come into my body and I say, my hands are God's hands. And I thank you for continuing to share the way you're sharing and inviting us all to come and play in the way that you are. Thank you.
Yeah, I think also in that class, was there a woman, no name, that that had ether coming out of her body?
Oh
And
my goodness. We've had all sorts of experience. There was anesthesia or anesthetic in one of our BE sessions where it was, you could smell it in the room. And then we've had so many miraculous and then amazing, like really remembering who we are and what our body temple is and what we get to let go of and how we get to flow in the amazingness and grace and energy we all are.
what she said. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming on. I mean, I appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Adam, go ahead.
Something else I choose to touch on, share with y'all, remember, ponder, reflect, contemplate, like the potential of what this is and what this means for me is this is the same thing that when we ask for, you know, mass meditations for people or their studies, when a certain group gets together, they meditate on a certain community, crime goes down, you know, just different, what the amount of energy and our blessings and what this is, because it's discussed a lot in our class that we just did and every body electronics I've been in. The work that we're doing for ourselves, our family, but this is for lineage stuff. So imagine having enough people around the globe, 20, 30 groups at the same time, different races, creeds, all that kind of stuff. Imagine what we can resurrect every, if we get enough of us, you know, it's the same thing as 144,000, if you know what that is, or you believe that that's possible. I do. So just imagine the possibilities that we can resurrect our whole entire planet with just a small group of us who are in the game. So, I mean, I'm super excited for this possibility, period.
Yeah. I mean, and I didn't know this is possible. Ia was all about it. She didn't choose to travel here. So we found, oh, there you have somebody in your town. 2 people actually, that one has a camera, her husband and Ange, who's done the class. So she agreed to find points. And I'm going, all right, I had Ange there. And now I'm going, all right, anybody that chooses to do this, get trained in where the point locations are and then come to a physical one, a live one. I mean, yeah, if somebody is overseas, there's a possibility we can train them enough they can start. I really believe it's going to help everyone to experience it because that'll make life. I'll do this, Edwards. Will you jump on for a minute? Did it help experiencing all this?
Yes, I would not have been able to do that remotely. It had to be there.
Kind of. Otherwise, we'd be a little remote about it. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Awesome. Me too. That's what I get about it. So let's open it up. Questions or comments? Anybody else can jump in, grad or not. Any questions? Mic yourself and wave.
Amy,
Go ahead.
is it okay if I share my experience with the Schweitzer fluid? Am I saying that right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Schweitzer. Yep.
Schweitzer. So Bob sprayed it on different points and I had a cesarean and he sprayed it on. It is now to the point where they put the staples in. I can see now, which I could not see in the past, I can see the staple points and the ridge where I've been spraying it is flattening out and all the redness that was in, especially on the end points where they knotted it, is gone. So, I mean, I'm extremely excited about that. And another thing I'm experiencing is vivid dreams, like color. I mean, last night I in the past, I did not remember my dreams. Last night I was at the airport and I'd forgotten my suitcase and I had to run home and I knew the exact location, what airport. I mean, it is and like my business, I've been dreaming about my business for years and I saw the whole entire thing operating full on. I mean, it's been, the dreams alone was worth the visit. It's been phenomenal. Thank you.
Awesome. And that's really true. Pineal and getting the endocrine system hooked up and working. Me too. I mean, when I first did it, I felt I had a football field. We didn't have meta back then, but just the BE session, I felt I had a football field of creativity versus wherever I was before. It's like that when Heather talked about the pressure, you know, like pulling everything up into place. "Oh, I've got so much room." That's kind of what it's like for me on every session: support, creativity, authority, authorship, ease of expression, etc. As we start coming on to our divine potential. Who else? Comments, questions, statements? Yeah.
I have another comment, Bob. When Heather Connor was your demonstration model, and when I saw the elbow, I think it was Adam and Brian's elbows go into Heather's calves, and she really reacted. From that moment on, every recess we had, I put joy oil on the back of my calves. And when two of the ladies put their elbows in my calves, it really went in with ease. So early on, applying essential oils and decreeing my decrees along with the endocrine session and all the other sessions, especially the spinal, I really noticed added to the melting of my crystals.
And every person had the raindrop all included in a spray bottle with water sprayed down the spine, just to allow that to help and support. So essential oils are where it's at, really helpful.
Yes.
Thanks,
Period.
Beth. Awesome. And I was going to make a calf sum, but I don't have that out here in this particular spot. But different calves than what the moo calves. This is the ones on our legs. Yes. Who else? If you're interested in knowing more, connect with Adam at masterysystem.com. You know, I know that we have someone here from Britain, England, whatever. And I mean, we have Sweden now. We've got 2 people from England, right? Two. Philip, and who else? Do you have something? Oh, somebody loves you. I love the thumb thing. So imagine, I mean, it was the coolest thing to have 12 people in Mullumbimby, Australia. How cool is that? Do it with us and share their experiences. We were on the same page. That's what Zoom was created for. I'm going to get that. I mean, it was something about miraculous. And again, it's not done. This is the beginning of the unfolding of our full potential. That's what that's about. And when somebody said, I mean, I share really cool stuff and it's profound. Why I keep doing body electronics and MetaBE is we go in, instead of chunking away at the pattern, we go find the pattern and where it's stored in the body and hold it and love it. And everybody that's serving is getting a 10-fold return for all the service they give. All the victory of voting, all that kind of stuff, 10-fold return, keeping 60% of what we send out and give, immediate 10-fold return. And we start to dissolve the pattern into what it's meant to be. We walk new. Mandy, is there something you'd like to share, my dear, about your experience? Mandy, can you share with us? Are you on? Can you?
Yes,
Go ahead,
I
dear.
can. Hi, thank you for allowing me to share, and I am in gratitude to share my experience, strength, and hope. I love what Beth said about using the essential oils and the minerals and the supplements, and how much those things supported me within the MetaBE. And my experience was profound. And each experience built on the one before, and all had their own way of creating brand new in my life. My experience of having somebody connect with my points, those memories within my body, and have those points dissolve to come up and be transformed in a brand new way. And for me personally, I had some memories come up that where I experienced shame and unworthiness. And the short version of that story, I mean, I choose to know how to express how big this was for me. That was transformed for me, where I got to find my worthiness and transmute my shame into full confidence. And I am in a brand new way, feeling very directly guided and connected with source, and building, and I am a literal builder, so I have been building in confidence in all areas of my life. And I look forward to being able to share that experience with other people, as I have every intention of teaching that, and also being a student of it again and again. It was really beautiful. So thank you.
How's your hubby doing? Many brought their husbands. It was really cool. So how's Kurt doing?
Kurt is amazing. He is taking care of himself in a brand new way, and decided to take this last week off to just really integrate and be brand new and spend time with me. And what that means is that I am working him. So he's a backhoe operator and I need a hole. So we are working together, and it has been divine. It's really lovely. Our time together is lovely.
Awesome, honey. That's so cool. Brittany has a question. Do the crystals tend to store themselves in knots in muscles? So there's soft tissue like that. There's cartilage, there's bone spur. There's like any kind of hardening can be a soft tissue. Mucus is a crystal. When we're going, it's not interesting. It's not what I what I choose to do. And it's I can't, which is trapped plasma protein. And so as we go, I can, the mucus pours out of the body. And Kristen White was the one that had blowing her nose 400,000, 500,000 times a day, maybe every minute. In every recording, you'll be hearing this going on as that's her ICANS returning. It was very exciting. And she got a surcharge at class for using so many tissues. She placed her issues inside of so many tissues that, no, she didn't get charged. But anyway, it was awesome. So yes, the muscle. That again, when people came who might have had something sore and all that, it's going to be different now. Because imagine letting life flow. Imagine loving love, serving love, shining like the noonday sun. Like that. Anyone else? Ryan, go ahead.
Could this help with things like allergies or hay fever or asthma? This sort of
Sure.
work?
But that part's easy. You don't even need BE for that. So, and by the way, you could talk for an hour because I love accents. So if I'm going, and what else? And what else? I'd be listening to your accent. My wife, if she was on the planet right now, going, he loves your accent. So just know that I'm telling myself at a time. So grief is suppressed, or allergies are suppressed grief. And asthma is medulla, fight or fright. Something's in survival. Now, do your nose thing again. Just bring it. And so that means I will what? This is right side is I will. So I will what?
I will listen.
Oh, good. Yeah, and so most likely, do you get to forgive someone or something for taking away your joy?
Yes.
I'm saying you don't have to wait for Meta BE. You might as well walk new now. So it is. So is it time for you to give yourself permission to thrive?
Yes.
Now, is that a full yes or a contemplative yes?
I was contemplating.
So no, that means thinking, which is like stinking. Not wrong. It's common. So is it time to just jump in and say, I recommit to thriving?
I recommit to thriving.
For who?
For me.
Mm-hmm. And me is good. Me is your subconscious. So now say me thrive.
Me thrive.
Say it again.
Me thrive.
That sounds weird, but try it. Say it again. Me thrive.
Me thrive.
And then about I touch my grief with love.
I touch my grief with love.
Now say yo grief.
Yo grief.
I love you.
I love you.
Just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
And if and as you do this full on, you'll see you move right up through it. Cool. And everyone vote his victory because this is real. I mean, we don't have to wait at all. I've got way too many. This would be, can you imagine? No, you have to come to a class. Like, no, you're gonna have to. And yeah, get yourself the class. But the point is, those two are easy. And again, Usually what happens is if somebody has asthma or anything like that, they were fed a lot of dairy, and dairy creates, I can't and whatever. So I would recommend let's avoid the dairy and any universal allergens, and grief, pancreatic stuff, all that allergies is simply, I'm going to have to love my grief into my joy. And as you do, your trajectory isn't sad and survival, it's joy and thrival. Yes or no?
Yes.
And how strong was that? Yes. How strong was that? Yes. How strong was it?
It's very strong now.
So when we heard, I love it. I will again. I will. All right. So when you went contemplative, yes. Now just say it's not wrong. You just stay in the game till you get it. I recommit. Say it again. I recommit.
I recommit.
Fully.
I recommit.
Fully to my, well, no, I recommit fully to my thriving.
Oh, I recommit fully to my thriving.
Awesome. Vote is victory. Anything else, Ryan? By the way, that's your feeling world, lower jaw feeling world. Got it? So
Yes.
you're going, when you went right to feeling. Go ahead. There's the.
This is a bit surreal. I've been watching the videos and now it's being done on me.
Now you can sweat in public with us, right? Okay. And vote is victory, kids. This is really real. So just imagine Ryan in the short little interaction has a ton of miracles that happen. Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan. Beautiful. And Ia, will you jump on and share what it took? Because we've done quite a bit sharing already, but I mentioned your name like 600 times. No, just kidding, but a lot.
What? I thought it started right now. I thought I was
What?
on time for once.
Well, we started it an hour ago.
Oh,
We had a time change.
apologize.
We had a time change. So you were on time at the old time frame, and it's all right. It's all good. But you're on here now, so you'll be able to listen to what we shared.
Cool.
But again,
Okay,
you're
well,
the
I'm here.
one. Yeah, but you're the one, and Adam and I have been doing the same. We've all shared, but once I saw how well your group in Australia, and where our team mentioned it, in harmony, we just went through very similar things, exactly the same page all the way through. That's when I went, we can do this globally. So will you share a little bit about what that took?
Well, what that took from me was being fully committed to myself, which was the reason that I chose to do MetaBE. Was it was my next highest choice. So I required to stay in my commitment. And then that blessed my world. So continuing to stay true to me in every moment is what made it successful for everyone else, because as I blessed me, I blessed everyone. And it also, as a co-facilitator of this event, of, facilitating my team here on location, my connection with Bob is what made that seamless, absolutely seamless, just completely synchronized as if we were in one space. And so that required, I believe, a certain amount of pre-training, which I have had now 12 months with Bob of continuous, at least once a week for the past 12 months of training, and just continuous exposure to all of the material, like as many of the in-house coaches have said, just thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of just continuously exposing myself to the system and acclimating to the system, using the system, and then recommitting. That is what it required of me, so that when I was on board here, I was able to effectively lead my team using the system. So this is a point for recommit, and really trusting. My faith came back online really big time throughout the MetaBE. It was the piece that I walked in my faith that actually brought my faith back into my physical reality. so it required my authorship to be very absolutely on point with, this is what we're doing now. We need to take a break now. We need to act now. We need to be on time now. Like in bringing myself to the call, there was many more me's. So I was just many me's with Bob to have our location team in. And then it was absolutely, we were with the America team. They were with us. The USA, ASU, AUS, SU. I don't know which order you want to put them in. We were definitely multi-ordered. And it was profound, even up until the way that it ended. And everybody had their own different things for different reasons. Bob ended at the time he ended for whatever reason, but it was so perfect also for us. So I was just in full faith that every decision made was for the highest. So I didn't need to question like, oh, is 1 a.m. the best time for us to meet? If that's the choice, then that's the highest and that will work. And that did work. And that served so many things that I, could just write a book on just that aspect. It was just pressed down and overflowing of miracles, of transformation for me and everyone. And just the real joy. I mean, there was so many benefits, but the real joy was actually being alive with my community in this. It was like we were on a boat, and you might have already said that, but it was like we were on a ship and we were all contributing. We were all playing our part. We were all fully participating and waking up in the morning, coming together, sharing. We would often speak out the commitments of the rules of the game together as a team. We would read them out and re-agree each day. That kept us in the game. That kept us on purpose with all of the tools, because they're really there in the agreements at the beginning. So all of that kind of stuff, helping with the food, everybody getting their sleep. We just became so in love with each other. We didn't want it to end. We loved getting up at 10 p.m. We loved being awake in the night. We loved every aspect of it. And prior to actually getting there, a lot of stuff came up for everyone very intensely. And so by the time it started, so many miracles had already come through that we just loved being together. It was just a truly profound experience that we're now holding the flame for our whole community to wake up to conscious language. And I believe that that's what it really takes. Now that people around me where I live have all done Meta BE, they're like, wow, let's go back to book club. Let's go back and get the skills. Let's start to fill in the dots. And everyone who came is actually leaders and healers and teachers. And so they're now got their networks that they're already turning everyone on. So it's just a beautiful expansion of consciousness and co-empowerment. I just love how clean everything is. It's very sovereign. It's all by choice. And so in that way, it's very easy for me to continue empowering my world. Shall I stop there? Because I can just talk on and on.
Well, and what I'm imagining, I'll share it. I believe I've shared it before. And what I'm imagining is once people get trained, when we set up and are actually going to do the next one, as we start to meet, those that are satellites, well, part of what I'm going to fee base, part of that will be working with you to get the training, what you did, blueprint you did. I mean, you'll receive compensation for helping them get really clear. Look at her shirt. Awesome. But anyway, yes, because yeah, right on. And I mean, for me, I'd rather have you do it because I'm managing my team and the commitment. I already built all that. And those that go, oh, I really like to, the Kahuna training, the new one coming up, do it. Just jump in, the all live online, do it. And there's a bunch of other things that really help in that, as you get interested, Adam can guide everybody in how to do it. So, I mean, to me, that what you did and what we all did was seamless and glorious and grace-filled, really, truly.
Yeah, and that's right. Just to reconfirm that it's through my ongoing training with Bob over this last 12 months, those tools were required at the highest level that I had mastered them in myself for our Meta BE to be successful. Point holding, although that's where the skill, like let's say that's what it's about, that's like the last part of it really, because it's all about voting victory, seeing perfection, breathing, breathing through things. Yeah, it's okay, just breathe. And getting in our bodies, because it's what I found was that some of the team members were very excited to be decreeing, and that's valuable, but they needed to arrive and they needed to get it, just touch and feel and stay. And so those are the skills that I really, through repetition, had embodied with Bob throughout the year, that when I was on those bodywork sessions, I was effective and beneficial to my team by being able to say, no, we're to facilitate the session in, let's just stay here and breathe and feel before we run ahead with the, all the excitement, just stay here, breathe here, feel here. That was really required. Otherwise, mental place, there was conflict. And so I needed to keep using my authorship to come back to aligning with what Bob was doing rather than run a separate retreat in some other direction. It was about really staying in tune with Bob's leadership. And what I found was whatever came up for us as a group, it was happening at the same time for the USA team. So then as I would facilitate it in my way with my team, and then we would link back in, it was Bob just came in and reconfirmed everything that I'd already said, which built stronger trust then with my team that indeed the choices I was making was in fact in alignment and synchronized with where we were all going as a big team. So, and really felt too how important it was to have all the in-house coaches involved, their level of experience, their level of teamwork in voting victory, that was palpable, and that also added to our overall success was actually the two teams working together, not just this sort of mothership and then satellite, but actually a synergy between us all. There became this beautiful feed exchange happening that was in my dream time. It was happening for everyone. It's not just when you're on the call, it was happening 24/7.
Perfect. Me too, dear. We'll talk more when we get a chance to do that. And thanks for joining us at the appropriate, perfect time. All right. Any other comments or questions? I know we had a few more join in. So Adam at masterassistant.com, if you have interest, we'll do a lot more of this stuff. I already know of a whole bunch of people who are potentials for this, if you get a sense of what I mean, and leaders and all that. And I love the idea of going, all right, how many, it's not so much the numbers, is the quality of energy in a particular location to completely flip the pattern right now by people who land and get in our body, as Ida said, and occupy till I come. That's the scriptural statement, is occupy till I come. And I see that more as a quantum physics book than anything else. And it's wild. Is that a question you have with your one finger up, Philip?
Yeah. So is Meta BE accessible for someone who may never have experienced conscious language? It's clear the facilitator from the last conversation, it's necessary for them to be familiar. However, can I, if it were to start, can you invite someone who's completely new but open-minded?
Well, here's what the requirements are: that they have done All For You, so they're already going to know about it. They're going to do the All For You Accelerator 2 with a team, which takes all the tools and builds for them what everybody has to coach themselves. So I know is your answer, unless they've got full on. I love it. Just go to the light. I love that. Just go to the light, your computer, whatever, it pops up to the light. It's awesome. Everyone, what I like is scripturally, it says, not religion, it says, with all you're getting, get understanding. So for me, my job is to create an environment where somebody remembers all this stuff themselves. And we can do that in a very short period of time, in my view. And offer you the team thing by our in-house coaches. There's a lot there that was never available. It's newly available right now. So that preparation before, and then I would do it exactly the same again. We do a 2-day all for you, completely committed to reviewing everything. So everybody's on the page with me, because I'm going to make a difference, and every team member. And Ia, did you find that was helpful to do 2 days of all for you for the group?
Oh, it was essential, absolutely essential. And also what I'm reflecting on, we actually had a fly-in. So our 12th member landed just before her first Meta BE session, as in we were 11 people and the 12th member arrived, and it was the time for her first session, and then she was in. So she hadn't done the all for you part. She had never read Conscious Language. She didn't even know who Bob was, actually. She had only heard his name a day before. So she was just really our fly-in, and it was just incredible, because Bob just said in a really short period of time that everybody remembers. And that's true. Like, it's so true. Our whole team was our container was so powerful that someone flying in just immediately acclimated, and within 24 hours was already upgrading her own language, and didn't even know there was a book. So
cool. That's cool.
The power of momentum, the power of working together as a team produces profound results.
Instead of herd immunity, I believe it's herd consciousness. I mean, I think there's a momentum that happens. And if I can do anything, and I say, let's get everybody prepared so it's easy, smooth. And that 12th person coming in, that really just helps the numbers. So anybody going, I'd like to do this, make sure that you're thinking in 12s, because 12 is the magic number to get this to work. So
yeah,
Adam will go over that with you if you have interest still. And we'll do more. This is just our first thought, and it's where we are. Anyone else? Comment,
and
question?
even people can acclimate very quickly, instantaneously, in fact. The preparation, investing, doing all the courses you can, knowing that you're headed for Meta, start now. I mean, it was minimum 1 year of consistent, minimum once a week, more likely 3 times a week, plus videos. So every day I was exposing myself to Mastery System tools before I did Meta BE. And I thanks God, my God, that I had, because I used everything that I had studied in that session. And the session that therefore gave me so much more than just sort of jumping in and thinking I knew. And I've been involved, I've been in my game for 22 years. I've been actively teaching and facilitating. So I thought I knew, and sure I did, but it was my next octave. And so the preparation in this system is required. And that's just that.
Yeah. And the key is to get it till you own it, because it's not like being little robots. You have to own it. Once you own it, then miracles happen. So, all of you, thanks for being on tonight. Those that shared, those that questioned, vote victory, seek perfection. And let's imagine whoever, let's imagine pods waking up, and literally light at the level that we're talking about is ever present and ever expanding in us first, through us and around us, and then in, through, and around our family, loved ones, because they're all involved in everything we did tonight. And let's imagine that, like in the twinkling of an eye, like a thief in the night, love and light reign supreme on our planet, just because. So, all right, everyone, thank you all for coming. We did good.